Welcome to this Lignacite tutorial. In this video we will cover the process of completing a job that's been assigned to you on fleXipod. By the end of this video you'll be confident in using all aspects of the in-app jobs function. If you'd like to skip to a specific part of the jobs process, then you can click on the relevant chapters below. Once you've logged into fleXipod before starting a job, it's useful to check if you have any unread messages. This is highlighted by a red notification dot next to the messages banner. Sometimes messages will come through with important information about an order. In this case, however, no messages have been sent and we can go straight to the jobs list function. Notice that we have a red notification dot next to the job list. This signifies that a job has been sent through. A delivery is split up into 5 parts, which is why you see the number 5 inside the notification. When you complete parts of a delivery, this number will go down. It is good practice to check the details of your delivery before you set off. This way you can find out if there are any special delivery instructions, and you can also see the individual items that you are delivering. If we tap on the job list function, we are presented with an overview of jobs to complete in the order. If we scroll down to the third section, titled Deliver, we can tap on it and it will bring up the job view window. In this menu we have lots of useful functions and information about the delivery. At the top left hand side we have the name of the customer, who we're delivering to, and the delivery address. On the right we have some quick use buttons, which we will go into detail about later in the video. On this screen we can also see if any special instructions have been applied to the order. Again, this is useful to know before you set off for the delivery. You can check this by tapping the arrow on the drop down menu. As we have a notification next to the special instruction tab, we know that there's a special request that's been made by the customer. In this example, the customer has asked us to ring them before we leave Brandon. While we're on the job view screen, we can also check the items that we're going to deliver. If we click on the delivery tab, we can see that there's a little notification with the number 2 next to it, indicating that there are 2 different products for delivery. The deliver screen, first of all, shows you the order as a whole. This is also known as the container level. It will then show us the individual items within the order, as well as how many of each item that we're carrying. Now that we've checked the delivery details, we now know that we need to give the customer a call before we leave, and that we're carrying 7.3 hollow blocks and 3-foot pallets. To get back to the overview of your jobs, you can either press the back button on your device, or you can tap the home icon at the top of the screen, taking you back to the main menu, and you can go to the jobs list from there. At the top of the jobs list, there is an overview of your delivery. So, now that we know our order information, let's start the delivery process. Step 1 is the pre-departure. If the stock on the back of the vehicle matches the items listed on fleXipod, then you can complete this step. As we did that earlier, we've already checked and say yes to the pre-departure event. When a job has been completed, it will disappear from the jobs list. Anything that has been completed you can then find in the in progress job function. Step 2 is the depot depart. When you're ready to leave, you can tap on depot depart and press complete. This will then communicate to the fleXipod center console that you've left to begin your delivery drop. Step 3 is the delivery. On your way to the delivery, you can have the job view page open, as it's quite useful to check its details and have easy access to the quick use buttons. These quick use buttons are located on the right hand side. The first button is Maps, which will open the default map application on your device, and it will automatically plan a route to your destination. The second button is Phone. Tapping on this icon will give you the option to call the customer. This is very useful if you need to get in contact with the customer directly. It saves you having to check through your notes or having to make a call back to the depot. In this example, we would have used the function so that we can ring the customer to say that we've now left. The last icon will quick link you to any relevant ad hoc forms for your job, such as a wait time form for if you've been left waiting on a delivery, or the pallet collection form. This saves you time going back to the main menu. When you arrive at the delivery site, you want to begin the delivery process. To do this, from the job view screen, open the order by pressing Open at the bottom of the screen. Then go into the Delivery tab. To deliver the items, press on the container order. Notice that the consignment number is automatically filled in at the top of the screen. When this is selected, tap Items at the bottom of the screen. This will then display the items list. You can then go ahead and tick off the items by tapping on each line individually. If you look again, it fills the item number at the top of the screen. You can then tap Go, which will then deliver the item. When it's been registered as delivered on the fleXipod app, a green tick will appear next to the item. You need to do this for all of the items on the order. In this scenario, we're assuming that all items are okay and are able to be delivered. You can deliver all items at once by pressing on the container order and then pressing Go. However, if you need to check what's on the order, or perhaps the customer wants to see what you have on the delivery, it is recommended that you follow the process of doing them one by one so that you can verify every item has been delivered. Once all the items are delivered, the screen will refresh and bring up the Job Complete screen. At this stage you will need to get a name and a signature as proof of delivery. At the top of the screen you can choose who is signing for the items. Note that on all deliveries there will already be a name filled in by default. However, in most cases you won't be delivering the items to that person. Therefore you'll need to change it and enter in a new name. To do this, press the clear button and then tap on the text box to type in their name. Once you've filled out the customer's name, you will then need to get a signature for the items. When the customer signs for their goods, they will then be asked to hand the device back to the driver. You can then verify that it's been filled in by pressing OK and then going on to the next screen. You will be prompted to take a photo of the items as extra proof of delivery. Once you take the photo, you'll be asked to confirm it by pressing the tick icon and OK. As you've done a delivery, the fleXipod app will automatically open up a pallet collection form. If you have pallets to return, press yes, otherwise just click no and continue. Step 4 is the depot return. If you press on the depot return tab, it will bring up what's called the depot view screen. Press this button to say that you're returning back from your delivery. Ensure that any checks which need to be completed are done before you leave. The end of trip stage is for when you're back at the depot and have completed your delivery. Pressing yes will end the overall job. You will then be greeted with a summary of your completed journey. To close that, press complete. If we now go back to the main menu, we can see that there are no notifications on the jobs list. This is a good indication that we've now completed all of our jobs.